The area we're in is the southwest of Coventry, an area called Stoke-Aldermore, comes under the borough of Lower Stoke. Where we are now is in the lower field of Stoke-Aldermore, and this is where the greatest British film was made. The greatest car chase was made. There's been a lot of controversy over the location of where the film was. Growing up in Coventry, people thought it's in Walsgrave, in Finham, in Stoke. So I took it upon myself to find the location. I applied to the council that I wanted to put a plaque on the location where the greatest film was made and the greatest car chase. The council said, you have to prove it. So I set about on my quest to prove it. I went through all the diagrams at Severn Trent. I went through all their paperwork to find out the location. And then I came across a black and white photograph. And in this black and white photograph, you can see the minis being loaded into the ground. And in the background of that photograph, you'll see a block of flats. Well, those flats are behind me. So what I was able to do was I was able to triangulate from those flats to find out the location. And while I was doing that, I came across Neville. I knocked on Neville's door and I asked him, were you the gentleman that lowered the minis into the ground? And he said yes.
I'm Neville Goode, I'm the crane driver, I live down the area down here. On the Monday morning we had a job come in, could I report down to this area to do a job? I had not a clue what it was because crane drivers just went where they was told and you get told what the job is when you get there. So when we got down here I found out that it was putting cars into a sewer, which I thought, well, if that's what you want, let's get on with it, sort of thing, you know. But I hadn't got a clue what it was all about, and nobody told me until a few days later. But in the meantime, I set the crane up, we got the cars, there was minis, red, white and blue minis, and a police car, which I lowered into the hole down the bottom. And then I heard they was going to go round through the tunnel and come out the other end.
So with Neville's testimony, with the photograph, and with the plans from Severn Trent, I was able to prove the location of where the plaque was. I mean, Neville placed the minis into the ground, so he knew exactly where they was, without a question. The council gave me permission to place the plaque there in its position.
Yeah, the main stuntman was Remy Julien. He's appeared in many films doing stunts. Quite a few James Bond films that I found out as well. And I made myself known to him and he came and seen me and he said that there was water in the tunnel and it was affecting the steering on the Mini when he was driving through it. And he was making his hands slippy. So I just thought, I said, well, I've got a pair of gloves in the crane, which we used to use for odd jobs, like, you know. If you'd like to borrow those, you can do. And he was chuffed. He said, oh, thank you. So we borrowed them, and it done the job. It saved him slipping his hands on the steering wheel. So at the end of the filming, I don't know what happened to the gloves.
When Neville told me this story about lending this Remy Julien a pair of gloves, I thought to myself, I'm going to email Remy Julien, I'm going to ask him, can I get a pair of gloves signed? So I emailed him saying, you know, I'm prepared to go over northern France and I'll get a signed pair of gloves, or could he post me a pair of gloves? To my surprise, he said no. He says, I would rather go over and present these gloves myself. On the 19th of October 2019, Remy Julien came over to England and he presented Neville with a signed pair of gloves.
These belong in a glass cabinet at home. Very rare do I bring them out because they are treasured. So I can just show that they are autographed by Remy Julien. And as I say, they live in a glass case. And he came and presented me with those, and I was that proud to meet him again and to receive these. It broke my heart, but there they are. Gentleman he was, gentleman.
Motorfest is really a festival that celebrates Coventry's connection with the car industry, and We started Motorfest because I knew that Coventry's car industry was still very much alive, but a lot of people didn't. People thought that the manufacturing had finished, and so we thought, well, what we're going to do is we're going to tell that story. So Motorfest is an event that normally takes place at the beginning of June each year. This year it's happening a little bit later and in a slightly different format because of COVID. But what we do is we mix motorsport, and we shut Coventry's Ring Road and create a licensed motorsport circuit on the Ring Road. We fill the city centre with nearly 1,000 cars and motorbikes, which are from the past, the present and the future of Coventry's automotive industry. I knew when I worked in the car industry, wherever I went in the world, I'd meet somebody from Coventry in a design office, in an engineering office. Coventry's influence is worldwide. So Motorfest is an event that celebrates that. And so what we wanted to do, because the work that Kevin's done in locating this iconic film scene is amazing. So we thought, wouldn't it be great if we worked with Flat Pack to get this film, The Italian Job, shown in the cathedral ruins this year as part of the Motorfest Festival, and of course as part of our year as City of Culture. Also, as we've got to know Kevin, Kevin's been hatching some other ideas for the future, so watch this space in terms of what Motorfest and Kevin get up to in the coming months.